What's up? This is Sean from Smile Empty Soul, and you're listening to J-Rock Podcast.
What's up, y'all? This is Austin from New Year's Day, and you're listening to J-Rock Podcast.
Hey, this is Freddie from Eriks, and you're listening to J-Rock Podcast. Hey, this is Taki from Eve to Adam, and you're listening to J-Rock's Podcast. Bookmark it and turn it up.
Thanks for listening to J-Rock Podcast. This is J-Rock. Let's go.
Hey guys, this is J-Rock. We have a very special show for you tonight. We actually have back-to-back episodes, and I could not be more pumped. So we get to speak to Erik Eldenius, and guys, he is the drummer for Billy Idol. He is a drumming legend. This episode is going to be super killer, and I've had a lot of people message me. They're just in shock that I got to be fortunate enough to talk to him, and he was kind enough to agree to this episode. Guys, I have so many questions for him. You know, and I saw them play at Carolina Rebellion, and man, Billy Idol and Erik, I mean, this band, they just rock, and they've been rocking for years, and they're very skilled rock legends. That's how I define them, as rock legends. Before we get started, guys, let me go ahead and give a shout out to my sponsors. We have Stephen New Law Office. Guys, you can get up with them. They have offices in Beckley and Charleston. They are a litigation personal injury law firm, and they focus on the practice of serious personal injury and wrongful death cases such as worksite injuries, motor vehicle and trucking accidents, as well as medical malpractice and employment discrimination. Also, we have Rock City, located in Charleston, West Virginia. Give them a call at 681-265-9154. Guys, they have the best sweets. I mean, anything you can think of. Their cakes, just everything is just amazing. The cookies they have a music venue there, and they have huge concerts. Tonight they have this Led Zeppelin cover band that's actually playing. I would love to be there. I had some things I have to do, and I know I'm going to be regretting not going. And they're renting places there that you can have parties, okay? And you can even have a band play at your party. You set it up and work through them. And guys, they have very reasonable prices, so get in contact with them. Darren Blankenship, tattoo artist, located in Logan, West Virginia, Tattoo Joe's. Listen, this guy is a professional. You need a tattoo, you go to him. He will set you up, and he's a tattoo artist that will make it look and last legendary. Okay, this guy, I put my name out there saying that this guy is by far the best, and you guys need to go to him. So he's located in Logan, West Virginia. Just get in contact with him. Also, Fire Pit, located in Man, West Virginia. Fire Pit has the best pizza, but that is not all. They have crab ragoons. They have ribs, okay? They have a lot of great stuff. Contact them at 583-7378. Also, Bypass Pharmacy. You can give them a call at 304-752-1445 at their Mount Gay location, located in Logan, West Virginia. Guys that have multiple locations, and they will treat you how a customer should be treated. Also, we have Atomic Comics and Collectibles. Guys, Michael, who runs this Atomic Comics and Collectibles, he is a just super cool dude, super chill. And if you're missing something for your collection, he will get it for you. If he doesn't have it already, most likely he hasn't. Because, guys, he has everything. I kid you not. He has all kinds of stuff. Just super cool dude. Give him a call at 304-688-9432. Also, Transamerica Life Insurance. Give Rebecca and Daniel Pennington a call. They will take care of you guys. No one's going to treat you better. They're very professional. They will set up an appointment to take care of you, and you can give them a call at 304-687-2311. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Billy Idol. First of all, it's important to know that he was emerging on the London punk rock scene in the 1970s. Punk rock scene. He was a member of what they call Generation X, and that's when he first achieved fame. And guys, he is an English musician, singer, songwriter, and actor. And his drummer, the one that we were fortunate enough to get to speak to today, he's just stuck with Billy. He is just awesome. The guy can just tear it up on the drums. I mean, that's all there is to it. He is just epic. And I'm curious to his life story. I'm very curious to everything that he has to say to us today. Because they're rock legends, okay? They are. Okay, guys, this is J-Rock, and we are here with a drummer with some insane talent. Mr. Erik, he is the drummer for Billy Idol. Do you want to say hey to everyone?
Hey, guys, how's it going?
And, man, just let me say, on the air here, thank you for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy, so this is, really awesome for me.
Yeah, man, of course. Happy to do it.
So let me start off with, when did you first start playing music? At what age? And, how did all this come to be for you? Like, I know you're a drummer, and I've read up on other things that you do too, outside of, drumming for Billy Idol. I know you do a lot of stuff, but tell me when you first got started and just how all this came to be for you.
Well, I think my story is probably the same that a lot of other drummers' stories sort of begin with, you end up trashing your parents' pots and pans at home, right? And finally they either, they slap you around until you stop doing it, or they realize that, hey, maybe there's a drummer in the making here. And I was lucky enough to have the latter. And so, yeah, I was around 4 years old when my parents got me my first drum kit, and that kind of, it just changed everything. Because I think, when you're that young, you just don't, you're not fully aware of why you love something and why you're drawn to something and why you, maybe can't stop thinking about something, even if it's, in your subconscious. But I remember just like that first day of sitting down at my own drums, that was like my life was obviously changed. And it's kind of been about that, that and, music in general ever since. So, yeah, that's how that got started.
Wow, man, that's crazy. And that's very cool that you did, you had that support from your family. As far as your family, is there anyone else in your family that played music that, kind of helped support you?
Yeah, my dad, even though he doesn't play music professionally, he played a little bit of everything, guitar, flute, saxophone, and he actually, he's in his late 70s now, and he still plays saxophone in a saxophone quartet. He plays in a big band, and I think over the years of me playing more and more, I think that inspired him to practice more and play a lot more. We never really played together, but I think it was one of those things where it just inspired him. So, yeah, he was definitely active. My brother, just 3 years younger than me, he kind of started playing the drums after I moved out. So it wasn't like he was necessarily someone that led me to do it. But it was a very, music-friendly household. We, had guitars and a piano and things like that. And, but yeah, I think, having supportive parents and siblings, for that matter, is definitely, so important. And, perhaps also a basement. When they go down and play your drums, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely a private space for
Yeah,
sure.
right.
Let me ask you this: like, when did you start playing professionally? Like, when did that all take place for you, and how did that come to be?
So I would say when I was 20, when I moved here, I basically, so I grew up in outside of Gothenburg in Sweden, and so I finished high school and music college in Sweden, and then I moved here when I was 20. And even though I was playing, you know, in bands and doing gigs and doing, you know, recording sessions and things like that, you know, I was always, you know, I was still in school. So yeah, it wasn't really until I moved here that it became, you know, a job.
Wow, man, that's crazy. I know, like you do a little bit of everything too. Like, you know, I've did my research and things. Like, I know you have your studio in Los Angeles, and apparently, you know, you do a lot of, you know, mixing and engineering at your studio. Correct?
I do that. You know, in the last sort of 5-6 years, that has, you know, become a very important element in my life in general, but also sort of career wise, because, you know, being on the road with Billy is, you know, amazing, obviously. But I'm just as passionate about, you know, recording and doing sessions for people and producing and engineering and all of that stuff. So it's really great to have that sort of waiting at home when we're not touring. So it kind of creates, you know, for me at least, the perfect balance between
excellent.
touring and recording. So, I mean, two different, very sort of creative aspects of making music, obviously.
I have to say, I saw you guys perform. I was actually at the Carolina Rebellion when you guys played.
Oh, yeah. When was that? That was like a year and a half ago.
Yes,
right?
and that was an insane show. You guys killed it. I loved it, every bit.
Oh, thank you. Well, was that the one with the Foo Fighters as well?
Foo Fighters. Yes. Yep. Foo Fighters that day too.
Yeah, that'll do it. If you know that they're watching from the side of the stage, you better, you know, you better step up your game. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Especially being a drummer. You know, when Dave Grohl is standing on the side of the stage, you know.
Hey, well,
you don't want to mess up. But thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, that was a fun gig.
So, what's it like with scheduling? Like, do you find it very difficult, you know, trying to, you know, do daily life things? Do you have to be, you know, real systematic with your schedule to make everything work out like you want it to?
Not really, because I mean, this is, you know, playing music and making music for a living is basically, you know, that's been my whole life. You know, I don't have kids. I don't have to, you know, take, you know, kids to school and pick them up and whatnot, or I've never had a, you know, a real job, so to speak, a conventional job. I've never had to commute 9 to 5. So, you know, the sort of the loose schedule of being a musician has just been something that I've always been used to. I've never had, you know, a different life. And especially, you know, once you start, you know, touring with people and things like that, then of course you start living a very different life. And scheduling is, I mean, I don't even really think about it. It's just, I think more in terms of when am I gone and when am I home? You know, I think that's like, those are the parameters of my scheduling. Like, either I'm in town or I'm not. Like, can I work on this record? No, because I'm on the road. And when I'm on the road, it's like you know, sometimes, I mean, obviously you play most evenings, but sometimes you travel overnight, or sometimes you have to sleep the whole day because you didn't have enough sleep the night before or whatnot. So it's really all over the place. And like I said, for me, because I'm not in a situation, for example, with, you know, with having kids and things like that, I can easily sort of, you know, roll with the punches of of whatever comes my way.
That's good. That's I'm glad that, you know, you can answer it that way. Like, I talk to some musicians and things, and it does sometimes get a little bit crazy for them. I remember I drove out to Columbus to meet the bass player Chad of 10 Years, and he was showing me, how he had to keep a schedule on his phone, and it was real systematic and crazy. And I think it was a little bit stressful to him, to be honest. And that's really good that that you don't have to do that, and that's you have it set. I like that answer.
Well, it's apples and oranges. I mean, of course, people that have, families and whatnot, it's a wonderful thing, and I'm sure it becomes very stressful to try to fit everything in and whatnot. But from that point of view, yeah, for me, it has been, very easy in that regard. So, yeah, pretty convenient.
So can you share with us? I know touring with Billy Idol. I know that you have one crazy story in your back pocket or funny story, something that's happened on tour. Is there something that you can throw at us?
Well, let me say. I mean, trust me, there are a lot of funny things that happen, a lot of crazy things that happen. Nothing as crazy as what Billy Idol experienced, when he was younger, probably. I think, all of those stories are well documented in his, autobiography, which is really, really great and informative, by the way, if you haven't read that, and, for all the listeners as well. It's called Dancing with Myself, and it's a really, really great read. Maybe we can move on to the next question, and I can think about something, because there's
so many.
There's a lot of amazing things that have happened, of course. But, like, once sort of ask the question, like, you kind of stall and like, oh, God, yeah, there's a lot of them, but I just can't think of any right now because of it.
Yes, I understand that feeling completely. We'll move on.
I mean, so I can tell you one, very funny thing that happened, because it pertains to me, and it was a prank that was pulled on me, which was,
okay,
very funny and very endearing and very loving, and so we were playing in Las Vegas just over 3 years ago, and we happened to play on my 40th birthday, and so what happens is we do the set, and pretty much towards the very end, before we do the last song, which is usually Moni Moni, everybody leaves the stage except for me, and the whole stage goes dark. And then the lights come on, and I do a drum solo for a few minutes, and then I sort of start the beat for Moni Moni, and everyone joins in. Now, obviously, this prank had been fairly well planned, so during those 5-10 seconds or whatever it is that the stage is completely dark, and I'm just sitting there waiting for my drum solo. What they had done is that they had taken all the smoke machines and aimed them towards me.
Oh, wow.
And went full blast with smoke. So by the time the lights came on and I started doing my solo, it was like I literally could not see a single thing. And of course, there's video of this that you can find somewhere. So, like, my whole little cubicle around my drum kit is like filled with smoke. You can't even see me. And so here I am, of course, having to do my drum solo, and everyone is cracking up laughing on each side of the stage, and just, it was obviously very, very funny, and it was just one of those very endearing moments.
Yes, we're going to need access to this video. We're going to need to. This is great.
Yeah, you know what? Once we're done with this, I have a clip of it. I'll send it to you, and you can post it as proof that this actually happened.
Oh man!
So it's a lot of fun things like that happen, just pranks, and of course, by the time towards the end of the gig, everyone attacked me with those silly string sprays and whatnot, and I ended up looking like George Clinton by the time by the time that we're done with me. So it's a very sort of loving family, sort of our touring family, and we pull pranks on each other. It's great.
I love that, man. I love that, in a lot of cases, a lot of bands, they get that close that it is, it's a family. I love that. I talked to like a lot of different musicians, and I had one interview recently, and I won't say names, but for anyone that listens to my episodes and stuff, he was in a band situation, and it wasn't like that. It was, it wasn't a good thing, and he had to pull himself out of that band, and he was searching for, what you said that you have there, like a family, and that's amazing. I'm super happy for you on that. Let me ask you, what would you say is the biggest problem that you've had to overcome in the music world, the music industry?
Oh, I feel like there's a lot of those as well. I think now this could be. I think of this as both positive and maybe negative. I don't know if it's necessarily negative, but I think it's a hard thing that a lot of people, myself included, sort of had to go through. And I think it's so when I was younger, I was so eager and hungry to sort of get started in the music business, and I know for a fact that I made a lot of, I consider at least some mistakes, or I did things that, because I was so hungry and I felt like, I was, I'm so ready, I'm so excited, and it's sort of, done out of excitement and just sheer happiness of sort of being in Los Angeles and wanting to get into the music business. But it is very easy. Or I should say that it was very easy for me to be very impatient in terms of finding opportunities and finding jobs and sort of wanting to be thrust and be part of the music industry. And so, I definitely know that I made some decisions that I would, not, I would not do those things again. And so when I say that it's both a negative and a positive thing, of course, once you sort of come, once you mature a little bit and understand the business more as we get older, of course, then it becomes a positive thing. And, it's definitely something that I try to share with younger musicians as well, that approach me and sort of, they have all the same legitimate questions that I had when I was a youngster and wanted to get started in the business. Everyone is, eager. Everyone wants to be part of it, and that's totally understandable. I went through the exact same thing. And that's usually one of the first things, that I will tell people, that, do whatever you can. Try to be patient. There's nothing wrong with being hungry and pushy, and you should be to a certain extent. You should definitely let people know that, that you are available and that, you're willing and able. But I think the patience factor was probably the most difficult thing for me to overcome. So, yeah, sorry, that's a long answer to that question.
No, that was really good. And that follows up with my next question, because I was going to ask you, what advice would you have for someone just starting a band in the current times that we live in? What would you have to say to them? I feel like you kind of already answered that. Is there anything else that you would add to that based on what you said?
I think the intuitive and basic love that you have for music and playing your instruments and wanting to create music by yourself and with other people, that should always be the driving force, no matter what, because there's no guarantee for any of us. I've had a nice run, but everything could change for me next year. You never know. So, and especially if you're younger, you've never really had the experience in the business. These days maybe people are sort of chasing the wrong aspects of the music business, whether it's fame or money or Instagram followers. I don't know. But I think that, as long as you stay true to your, sort of pure desire and passion and love for music, as long as you stick with that, everyone has a fair chance, you know. If I could, you know, move from a small town in Sweden and come over to Los Angeles and end up in Billy Idol's band, then, you know, I think pretty much anyone has a fair chance of doing something like this. And the other thing I would say is don't have a plan B. Don't have a backup plan. Don't have something to fall back on. Do this 100%.
I love that, man. I really do. I feel like that is just a really good answer. I love it.
Well, I can only sort of speak from what I mean, of course, yeah. I would probably change a few things along the way if I could go back and change it, but that's kind of, I just remember for me, that was the only thing. Like, you wake up in the morning and that's all I wanted to do. It's all I thought about. It's all I sort of planned for. And I think if you have that mindset and that drive, then there's no reason why, you know, you can't do this for a living.
I got to ask you this. You know, I've read up on a lot of the people that you've worked with, and man, this list is just crazy to me. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I know you've been producing and mixing records for like a lot of different people, and I think that is just amazing.
Well, a lot of things that you've probably seen, maybe like there's all these resumes and whatnot floating around on the internet. Most of that stuff is people that I've been, you know, playing drums for, whether it's been recording for them or touring with them. And, yeah, I've been lucky enough to have sort of, I've been able to work with a fairly wide, you know, variety of people. And I'm happy about that, of course, because I love all kinds of music. It's not just, you know, rock and roll for me. Although I love rock and roll and very, very happy to be doing it, especially with Billy. But I play all kinds of music and I love all kinds of music. So, yeah, I just feel very, very lucky that I've been able to play with such a wide variety of people.
I love it, man. I see 5 for Fighting on here. I gotta say major props. That's super cool. I see all kinds of different ones on here. And I think that's good too. I think, you know, I know some people get hung up on like one genre of music, but I think that's really awesome that you work with a wide variety. You don't just have to love one genre of music, is what I tell people all the time. You know, you can love more than, you know, one genre of music. And I love it, man. And your story is just so amazing to me.
You know, Jason, there's only 2 genres of music. You know that, right?
Yes.
It's good and bad.
Exactly.
Those are the 2 categories.
That's how I see it too.
So,
that's good.
Yeah. You know, I think we're living in a time where there's, you know, way too many categories. If, you know, you go to these playlists on iTunes or Spotify and whatnot, you know, there is like a new category coming out, you know, every year, whether it's new metal or screamo or Christian rock, or in fact, you know, at this point, I don't even know. I mean,
I know
Jesus Christ. I mean, how many categories do you have? Just fucking listen to the music.
I know. I was looking on my
like
news
the song
feed.
Or not, you know?
I know. I was looking on my news feed. It was just yesterday, and a category popped up, and it was goth country, and it was Marilyn Manson because he covered that new song. You know, God's Gonna Cut You Down. The cover, and it was like goth country. Like, wow. And I'm with you. Like, people get so hung up on the genre thing, and I agree. It's good or bad, and that's how it is. So people need to leave it at that.
Goth country. That's like an oxymoron.
Right? Exactly. It's so crazy. Well, listen, man, I have to say this has been a super fun interview, and I would love to talk to you again in the future if we can set something up. You're doing amazing things.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was very happy. I was very pumped to be able to talk to you, and thank you for allowing this to happen.
Got it, Jason. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Until next time, man. And hopefully you come near West Virginia, because I hope you and Billy or whoever, you know, if you're drumming for someone else on the side, but I hope, you know, you guys come close to West Virginia or Ohio, or, you know, be Billy has a lot of fans here, I can tell you that. So hopefully see you guys in concert soon, and let's make this happen again.
Absolutely. Yeah, just keep checking his website for tour dates, because they pop up here and there. And sometimes we don't actually know that far in advance. So yeah, just keep checking his website, and just let me know if you want to come out to any of the shows.
All right. Later, man. You have a good evening. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jason.